Batman Damned issue 1. Brian Azzarello and
Yeah.
Lee Behermo on the art. It's a shame that Connor's missing this week because these are
Yep.
two that and it's also a
He was
constant.
stoked.
It's got a Constantine element in it, which also he loves. So it's a shame he's not here for
And
that.
Zatanna.
And
She
yeah,
wasn't named.
and a different Zatanna in here as well. So obviously this is an Elseworld. This is not part of continuity. So they're free to do whatever they want. The first thing I will say about this book is the art is absolutely gorgeous from start to finish.
Yep.
It is exceptionally wonderful. There's nothing
Yeah,
else to describe it.
no, it's dark where where it needs to be, like, but it doesn't have that overly shadowy darkness. Like it's
No.
just Bermejo is one of these type of artists where you just know it's him from the time you see it.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
there's different. Of course, the page sizes are different. What's interesting actually reading this digitally because of the ratio of the tablet, it actually fills up a
Yeah.
little bit more screen space than normal. Than most comics, which is
Hmm.
nice, I guess. I mean, it's cool. Um,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I mean, even just those first pages is Batman's riding in an ambulance, and it's all this glowing red light from the streetlights coming in,
Yeah.
and it just looks absolutely stunning. The detail and the coloring and the painting is beautiful. That page after that, where he's on his knee and like the city's in front of him, like these are all wallpaper worthy. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, before we talk about the plot, let's just get the controversy out out the way.
Controversy.
So there's a scene later on where Batman gets back to the Batcave and he strips off his clothes, and in the print version of the first edition of this, you can see Batman's dick. They drew in his crotch, and DC then decided that because it didn't add into the story, because apparently it was very shadowy anyway. In the digital version and in future reprints of the book, including the collected edition, it's just completely blacked out. You can't see it. And honestly, like I knew it was supposed to be there, so when I got to that page and I'm reading it digitally, I was like, okay, so that was the page where the dick was going to be. I don't feel like I don't care that it's gone. Like it doesn't. I mean, it didn't add anything, but at the same time, it's like you could have just left it. Like it doesn't matter.
They turned Batman into a Ken doll.
I mean, I have to wonder though, would the same decision have been made if this was a female character? Would they have said, "Hey, this doesn't add anything. Let's take away the boobs"?
Well, I mean, they kind of did that with Harley in the Murphy book,
That's true.
in White Knight.
That's true.
Remember, they wanted to do that, and then before it went out to print, they had him alter it, and then in the collected edition, they're gonna have like a director's cut that is how it was meant to go. So and I get it. It's a this being a black label, it's not exactly like I don't think they have to worry about like kids getting a hold of it. But like you said, it was very gratuitous. So
because I mean,
like, why was it there?
The book does have swearing. There has f bombs. It has so there is that there too. But the story of the book is that we don't actually find this out till later because Constantine's narrating the whole thing and he finds Batman lying like half dead, and he brings him in. And Constantine's narration is kind of written into the artwork. It's kind of no bubbles or boxes. It's just kind of written straight on.
And I liked, although it took a while for me to get used to it, because then when you realize it's Constantine, but it creates this third-person narrator that you like, because it's not a typical comic story. He is the all-knowing, which kind of fits Constantine, because he's always got a card up his sleeve.
Yeah.
So,
also, Deadman's hanging around, and the way Deadman's like Deadman's red suit, the way it's drawn, almost looks like it's like like blood vessels. It looks like a body that's been skinned. It's like a really dark version of it. Actually, one of my only art complaints is the page where we first see Deadman and Constantine's sitting there, and we see on the news that the Joker's dead. The rest is when we find out the Joker's dead. Yep. Batman's reaction to the Joker being dead, I think his face looks a bit weird. It almost looks Adam West-esque, the way he's like cowl looks over his head.
Old chum,
yes. So that'd be my one critique. Oh, that following page is gorgeous though, where he's in silhouette diving past the buildings. Oh my god, this book is so good looking. But so we see like flashbacks that imply that his dad might have been cheating on his mother before he died. So again, it's an Elseworld, so we're doing these different things. And we're hearing about the Joker being dead. So the premise of this, though, the way it ends is that, and the reason why Constantine's involved is the idea that the Joker is dead and now he's a ghost, and now he can actually literally haunt Batman, and his presence is still here, which is an interesting idea. I don't know if I'm sold if it's going to work or not, but I'm definitely intrigued by that.
Yeah. I'm curious to see where this goes now, because now that we actually have Dead Man, we know ghosts exist in this story. We know that magic is around because of Constantine. In that scene with not well, it is Zatanna because she's got the fishnets and the top hat, but they never name her. You feel like as he's in disguise as the homeless person, he picks out where the card is because she's doing like a 3-card money.
Yeah, it's a con job.
And then almost
she's conning everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, but she changes it with magic or whatever. So they're like, "Oh, was he leading you astray? Why are you listening to him?" You know. But yeah, so it feels like it's a very magical world. You also have Enchantress seemingly haunting Bruce in childhood.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you get glimpses of her, in the flashbacks. And then I think you see her once in present day as well. I think is when he's in the cave or the manor later on. Because there's that scene where he hunts down this witness who saw the Joker go down, but he can't get to him. He actually fails and loses him in the dark tunnel. And I love actually when that page where he's looking at the tunnel and it's like this, the tunnel underground.
Smoke face.
You can see the face in the smoke, of someone. Yeah. It's really good stuff.
I know what you did.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. So no, I mean I'm really into this so far. It's double sized, of course. It's like a long issue, but it reads because it's really art focused. There's not a lot of dialogue in a lot of the pages. It reads very quick. I felt for what it is. And every page is gorgeous.
Yeah, I will. It took me a couple reads to get through, just because I was reading it when I was tired, and it wasn't capturing me in small bits. But I went back and I reread it before the show today, and it does work out if you're not falling asleep throughout. You know what I mean? And that's not any. Yeah, it wasn't any quality. It was just maybe I shouldn't wait till bedtime to read an Azzarello. Because he can be super wordy, and not that it's a bad thing, but it gets pretty dense at points with what he's saying, But no, the art and everything, it worked out really well. I'm surprised how much I liked it when I got to the end and what it was saying. And when Zatanna popped up, I was like, oh, this is cool. So we're getting this different version of Batman that we don't get to see too often.
Yeah, it's Batman that seems to be inspired somewhat by Enchantress. Enchantress is speaking in his head. And we get kind of this new version of the classic scene where the bat comes through the window when he's still a kid. And she actually just holds up a bat in front of him, in front of his chest. That's a really great page, by the way. And he wakes up as if he's having a nightmare this time. But the final scene is when he goes to the church and Constantine's sitting there, and he's like, "The Joker's dead, or he isn't. Do you believe in the afterlife?" And that's when we see the final page. Is there's the crucifix, the giant crucifix, and the Joker's makeup and hair has been painted onto Jesus with ha ha ha, obviously. And the final line is for obviously it believes in you, even if you don't believe in supernatural and the afterlife and ghosts. So one of them is definitely believing in you. So this idea that the Joker in death is going to hunt him, and obviously that cover for issue 2, which is at the back as well.
Is that Harley?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a Joker with a wig on, or if it's Harley, or if it's the Joker taking over someone like Deadman does. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because to me it looks like Harley because she has the star and the diamond on the face, but she has almost the Dia de los Muertos, skull makeup going.
Yeah.
And it looks great. So,
it's an interesting concept that Batman can't escape the Joker even if he shows up dead.
No. Well, and even if this is all just psychological, right? If we get to the end of this and it's all, it's not that something that he did led to the death of the Joker. He didn't actually kill Joker, right? Joker went too far. He fell off the bridge and died and whatever. But that still haunts Batman. No matter what he does, he'll be haunted by the death of Joker forever, like he's haunted by the death of his parents. So, but this makes me want to read. I never read their Joker series or the graphic novel.
Yeah, so that series is one graphic novel. It's just one thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I need to read that. And I need to finish their Luther because I have that, the Man of Steel.
I need to read Luther. I've not read Luther, but Joker was very good. Joker was all from the perspective of a henchman who is with him.
Well, and it's very real world versus which I got out of this. Like this feels like it could be the same continuity as Joker. I don't know, but
maybe
it feels very true to life because Constantine even has a line about how tough Batman is because he's not some Kryptonian or a warrior gifted by the gods. He's a tough son of a bitch. And usually that's a line I would hate, but the way that Azzarello uses it and coming from Constantine, like it just fit in this context. So,
Yeah, so far this is oozing in atmosphere, which is what I like about it the most, is the artwork and the atmosphere it's given. But then you add on to this idea that the Joker's haunting him after death. And again, for a main like continuity story, this would be kind of weird, but as an Elseworld, as a standalone, separate thing, this is a fantastic idea worth exploring. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how this Enchantress stuff works out. So, no, I'm into it. What are you giving it, Matt?
Yeah, so this was pretty strong showing, but it's not one of my favorites of the week, so it's weird. Because there's nothing really bad about it, but I enjoyed stuff more, so I'm trying to adjust my score, But it's an 8, I think. It's really good.
Yeah, I like the potential in what they're doing, but I'm not necessarily completely sold yet. But the artwork's gorgeous, and it's well told. So I'm going to go with an 8.5. I feel like this is the sort of thing where by the time it's done, it could end up being something of a masterpiece, but it's not sold me yet.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. And it's 3 parts, right? So it's going to be one of those...
Maybe 4.
3 or 4? Okay.
Yeah.